Meet Asif, a billionaire politician who's loud, proud, and always in the spotlight. He brags about being smarter than everyone else. But what happens when his big words come back to bite him? You're about to find out in today's story. Before we get started, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments below so we can bring you more stories that hit close to home.
Ice.
And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's free, and make sure you never miss what's coming next. All right, let's dive into the story. It was a sunny afternoon in a busy American city. The streets were buzzing with people, some rushing to work, others just trying to get by. In the middle of it all stood Asif Khan, a tall, broad-shouldered man in a sharp suit who's a billionaire politician, someone you couldn't miss. His face was on billboards, his voice was on the radio, and his name was on everyone's lips. Asif loved the attention. He walked into a crowded coffee shop, waving at people like he was a movie star. Asif wasn't just rich, he was loud. About it that day, he sat down with a group of reporters, a big grin on his face. They were asking him questions about his campaign for governor. One reporter, a young guy named Tim, leaned forward and said, "Mr. Khan, people say you don't pay your taxes. Is that true?" Asif laughed a deep, booming laugh that filled the room. "I don't pay taxes because I'm smart," he said. "Only fools give their money away. I've built an empire by knowing the rules better than anyone. That's why people should vote for me. I'll make them rich too." The crowd around him cheered. Some nodded, impressed by his confidence. Others whispered to each other, unsure. Tim scribbled notes, his eyebrows raised. Asif didn't care. He leaned back in his chair, sipping his coffee, acting like he'd just won the argument. To him, not paying taxes wasn't a crime. It was a badge of honor. Across town, in a small apartment, sat Peter, a quiet man in his 50s. Peter used to work for Asif years ago. He was Asif's accountant back when Asif's business was just starting to grow. Peter wasn't rich or famous. He lived a simple life, a small place with old furniture, a TV that barely worked, and a stack of bills on the table. But Peter had something else: memories. Memories of late nights at the office, crunching numbers, and helping Asif build his fortune. Peter didn't like the news these days. Every time he turned on the TV, there was Asif, bragging, smiling, acting like he was untouchable. That afternoon, Peter heard Asif's latest interview on the radio. "I don't pay taxes because I'm smart." Those words hit Peter hard. He clenched his fists, his face turning red. He knew the truth: Asif wasn't smart. He was a cheat. Years ago, Peter had seen it all. Asif didn't just avoid taxes, he broke the rules. He told Peter to make fake papers, documents that showed losses where there were profits, expenses that never happened. Peter didn't want to do it, but Asif promised him bonuses, promotions, a better life. So Peter went along with it for a while, until one day he couldn't take it anymore. He quit, walked away, and left that world behind. Asif replaced him with someone else and kept going, getting richer every year. Now, hearing Asif on the radio, Peter felt sick. Thought about all the people who believed Asif, hard-working folks who paid their taxes, who trusted him to lead them. Peter looked at an old box in the corner of his room. Inside were copies of those fake papers, proof he'd kept all these years, just in case. He hadn't touched them in a decade. But today something snapped. He couldn't let Asif get away with it anymore. The next morning, Peter made a call. He reached out to Tim, the reporter from the coffee shop. "I've got something you need to see," Peter said, his voice shaky but firm. They met at a quiet park bench later that day. Peter handed over a folder, yellowed pages, wrinkled from time, but clear as day. Tim's eyes widened as he read. Fake receipts, forged signatures, numbers that didn't add up. It was a gold mine. "Are you sure about this?" Tim asked. Peter nodded. "I'm tired of him lying to everyone." Tim worked fast. He took the papers to his editor, and within days the story was everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire politician caught in tax scam." The TV showed those fake documents, blurry but real, with Asif's name all over them. People were furious. At a campaign rally, Asif tried to brush it off. "This is fake news," he shouted, waving his hands. "They're jealous of my success." But no one was buying it this time. The crowd booed. Some threw cups at the stage. Asif's big smile faded. The police got involved next. They raided Asif's fancy office, pulling out files, computers, everything. Lawyers said the evidence was strong enough for a trial. Asif's campaign fell apart. His supporters walked away. His billboards came down. One night on live TV, a news anchor said it plain and simple. Asif Khan could be facing years in jail. Back at his apartment, Peter watched it all unfold. He didn't feel happy, just relieved. He'd spent years carrying that secret, and now it was out. He looked out his window at the city lights and took a deep breath. For once, the little guy had one. As for Asif, he sat in his big, empty mansion, staring at the walls. His phone stopped ringing. His friends disappeared. He'd spent his life chasing power, thinking he was above the rules. But in the end, the truth caught up, and it wasn't so smart after all. So that was the story of Asif Khan, a man who thought he could outsmart the world until it all came crashing down. What do you think? Could someone like Peter have changed things in your town? Let us know in the comments below. If this story hit home for you, please hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, but it helps us bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.